Thank you so much for this interview. Didi Mandlo by interviews Tvis.
Thank you for the interview.
Georgia was recently granted EU candidate status, but the process has been stalled amid mutual criticisms. Do you still see Georgia's future in the European Union?
Well, of course, that's one of the key foreign policy priorities for Georgia. This priority is established even on the level of the constitution, so that's one of the constitutional tasks of the government. The support, the people's support to the European integration idea is very high, and we are consistent in our efforts. We just have political challenges with the current European bureaucracy, and these major challenges started with the start of the war in Ukraine.
And what concrete steps is your government taking to address EU concerns and restart the accession process?
It's very political what is happening around us in terms of the European accession. Some people, some bureaucrats are not happy with the fact that Georgia did not open the second front on our territory. So that's the key political reason for creating these artificial obstacles on our path towards the European Union.
Yeah, I walked through Rustaveli. I saw the daily riots there. I'm adding to this the arrest of a journalist and the opposition boycott of parliament. Many young Georgians protesting in fear that their democratic future is at risk. What is your message to them and to Brussels?
And it's normal that some people are unhappy with the election results. So this protest started not around the issue of the European Union, but this protest started exactly on the 26th of October, on the day of the parliamentary election. The average number of the protest participants on a daily basis is less than 500 people. These are mostly the paid people, the NGO people, the radical opposition activists.
The paid?
Yeah, so they receive their salaries for being the NGO staff or the party activists. So I'm not talking about all of them, but mostly it's the NGO activists and the opposition activists. And all of them are paid, and most of them are paid from abroad. They are not independent in their kind of decisions. They completely depend on the people who coordinate these kind of protest efforts, and it's fully coordinated from abroad. And so that's why they have this fear to engage into the political debate.
Is it because of fear or because they're saying the elections was rigged?
No, it's about the fear. It's completely about the fear. So they can come to us, to me, and convince everybody that the election was rigged. But they have zero facts, just zero facts. And tell what are the facts, but they have zero.
Can you assure the international community that democratic institutions in Georgia remain strong and inclusive?
It's just a fact. We have the democratically elected parliament. The Georgian Dream Party received 54% in this election, so there was a very strong support. There is just only the propaganda against the democratic institutions. That's why we are open for the debate.
You're saying propaganda, but at the same time, you started your career with an embrace from Europe. You hold degrees in law from a prestigious German university. You understand when they say they have concerns about the rule of law in Georgia. For an example, the European Parliament pointed to the case of former President Saakashvili as a test of Georgia's justice system. How do you convince critics that Georgia's judiciary is independent and that political rivals are not persecuted under your watch?
When we talk about the case against the former president Mikhail Saakashvili, first of all, everybody knows that he was leading a criminal government. For example, they have killed 150 people, mostly the young people, just on the streets. Some stakeholders wanted to see Georgia as a second front against the Russian Federation, which would just destroy the country, and we rejected the relevant kind of request, and that's how the problem started. When we talk about the European bureaucracy. The European bureaucracy is acting in many cases essentially under the influence of informal forces, what we call them the global war party. And we are not talking about the details. Who are these? So now the American administration is talking about the deep state.
I've heard about global war party.
And for us, the global war party, deep state, it's more or less the same kind of stakeholders.
But who are these people? I've heard government spokespersons struggle to provide answers, and they give, I have to say, really weird answers.
We are not struggling. We are not. Because by going into the details, we can create some additional challenges for our country. So that's why we are careful. We are not specifying. We are not specifying these people, but there is a huge informal influence. And the result of this informal influence is that the European Union is under troubles.
Yeah, that I understand. I wish you would tell us who this global war party people are, because many people think it's a conspiracy. But I do want to ask if you know President Trump's idea of creating a Riviera in Gaza. What do you think about this plan? If President Trump, let's say President Trump asks you to accept to get some Palestinians here, to bring them here to Georgia, what will you say?
You know, we have a quite a kind of clear immigration policies. I don't want to talk about the details now, but so finally we will act in accordance with our national interests. So that's what I can tell you generally.
That means you'll say no to him?
So in general, so we are quite reluctant to promote too much immigration to Georgia. So that's our general policy.
Right.
Let's see.
When the president of Iran died, you traveled to Tehran to the funeral, and you even stood almost next to Ismail Haniya. Not long before he was, thank God, eliminated by Israel. Did you feel comfortable being there, standing next to him? While Haniya, I don't have to say, is someone who is on terrorist lists of so many Western countries, not only Israel.
So there was a lot of speculations about this visit, but also in this case you can see a lot of double standards. All countries from the neighborhood, all countries of the region visited Tehran for the inauguration. It was not only us, it was Azerbaijan, it was Armenia, it was Turkey. So all neighboring countries.
I think they were all wrong.
No, all the countries visit, because it's about neighborhood. It's about kind of the overall kind of security in the region. So we have to take care of that.
You know, as an Israeli, I have to say it was hard for me to see this picture, because I know that that president, just like the whole Ayatollah regime, they want to wipe me off, me personally, as an Israeli, every Israeli on the planet they want to kill. But is this a part of saving your country and being in a good relationship with the axis of evil to protect Georgia from Russia?
No, it's just about the kind of regional policy. So when we talk about our relations with Israel, for us it's just crucial to have very strong political relations. You know that we have very strong historic ties. And it's just our responsibility towards our kind of nations to promote this kind of historic partnership and friendship, and we are very open for that.
Regarding that picture, I think it's never too late to be on the right side of history. But, you know, I was walking down Tbilisi streets yesterday, and all I could hear was Hebrew. There are so many Israelis coming here. Can Israelis feel safe here? Because we know there were attempts of murdering Israelis by Iranians.
There was one case, and the state security agency acted very effectively in a very close cooperation with your kind of security institutions. Georgia is one of the safest countries.
Prime Minister, thank you so much for this interview.
Thank you very much. Thank you.